of all the verses here listed from John, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and I've combined them into one story, and this is the last editing. I've got like a series of 9 of them right now, of just going through and editing them here. So what I'm going to do is I got to get to them, so I've got to bring the text down a little bit because otherwise there's a lot of scrolling. So what I did do though, I've completed Yahweh's everlasting promises now with all maps added into the text that I didn't have here in Jesus' teaching. So that has been what's holding me up a little bit. Plus, I am painting, so there's been a few days, or it's been probably 2 weeks since I've gotten to this here. So, okay. The first update that I noticed that I have to mention here is this Governor Jared. A decree went out from this governor that was over the land of Israel. It wasn't King Augustus. What happens here is when I look at I didn't set that up. Sorry about that. Come on, get over here. When I looked into what was going on with the text in my updates. So where are they? Whoops, wrong button. That button. How come this has gone to pictures? This is better. No. What happened to all my... There they are. Okay. What I've got to do is get to... I didn't set it up, so... Okay, I think I'm closer there. This had to be the governor over the territory of Israel. This is going to be all combined. Couldn't find the right map real quick there. So all this is being ruled by a governor that was sent from Caesar, okay, for the census to happen. And what I've realized is that there's another correction I've had to make here in the text, and that is, those are still some of my notes, but I want to get to them where it's at before I just start talking here. Those notes still have to be found. A lot of these notes that you're seeing here are going to be in the final text. This is the text that you'll get. Maybe I won't have them highlighted. Maybe that'll be okay. This was me getting rid of the word 5 because this was the pool area, and the object here is that they needed to be said as sitting rooms and not 5 rooms. So this is how is that spelled right? I guess I gotta check that real quick. Now, how come? Okay, that's broken now. I'll have to check on that, but the object is just doesn't look right to me this morning. Walking to Bethel, I had to move the text from here to the end to make it read smoother. So I moved that text around. Oh, yeah, there wasn't too many editings, but I did have to move a large section of text. So Otherwise, I really wouldn't have done this video. So here I changed the word dropsy to swollen legs, trying to get rid of the word dropsy for 12-year-olds to read it and understand the text. It's a swollen limbs, but I just put swollen legs. Yep, bear with me. I called the believer. Okay, this word was the righteous and the sinner. The righteous don't need to be called. The righteous are the ones who are truly obedient to our Creator. So it wasn't that he wasn't there to send them, but the ones that are believers, they're a little weak. The believer to strengthen their belief, and the sinner. Okay, so yeah, the believers and the sinners. Yes, the believers that were sinning. Otherwise, I think would I put unbeliever here? No, you have to repent. You have to have believers knowing that they're not actually fully onto our Creator, like the weak Christians that is like today. That I didn't correct that. That should be all the words I thought I made upright now. So these are tied to notes later. Say furnace is hell, into the furnace of hell. Boy, I thought I had more corrections than that. What I did was try to make the maps and put them in, and as I was doing that, I'm thinking the text is coming up pretty soon. I found that the text didn't make any sense the way I had it. Right here it is. He had entered into their villages in this order when I was sticking the maps. All this text has to be moved down. Okay, so this was probably the biggest editing of this text, and that's why I needed to make this video. Otherwise, like I said, I would not have really made this video, even though it's short here. And his advisors replied. Now these I add the word advisors here, just to make sure that it was Herod, who was our governor, heard about this. Now, when we're talking about Herod now, not Jared, now we know the land is divided into 3 parts. So, where did I move the text? It wasn't too much farther. Yeah, here it is. So this is where the text is now placed, and it's placed because he was starting to now leave the area to go to another area, and that's he entered the villages, kind of like this. The text is telling me it's like this is like they didn't have stories from one area to the other, so they got him moving around. So I drew like a squiggly line as where he was walking around, heading back to Jerusalem. So I'm not sure if there's how many more edits there are. There's not that many. So let me put this down here, get more text. Oops. Going through more text quickly. Oops, there it is. I turned the story of the foolish virgins to servants. It made more sense with the servants instead of turned virgins, because that isn't the meaning of this proverb. So I've changed that. So that is a big change. Okay, this verse, I know that I talked in the last video that I was going to move this text or find a better place for it. I looked all over. I could not put this text anywhere, so it's just out. I've just removed it. It doesn't really, it's kind of like he's already talking about how corrupt they are, and I know there's other texts talking about it corrupt, but when he did, this didn't fit in, just like it's not fitting in here when you read it. What I also did is I combined these words together, like second coming and stuff like that. It's easier to search now when you do that. Do a search for those highlighted words or whatever. Here I've changed. This is going to be a huge change. People are going to get all excited about it, but the thing here is this is more truthful because it starts with Abraham who receives the promise. So I'm adding Abraham's name and changing Eliah and getting rid of Elijah out of here. And I'm putting in Moses. Moses started his nation. So this is the promise was started with with Abraham, and then Moses, this was the accumulation of starting his nation for everything to happen. So Elijah, there's no real text of why he would be here. So my reasoning is that it needs to have Abraham here. So that is a big change. And then this is, I think that's, no. I had to add this word to these words when I was going through. I needed to add those words. I felt better adding those, what happened. Then he hung himself after he told us. Then he went out and hung himself. But it had to be told us what. So told us what happened, which means I was searching for the who would have been able to tell them this story, okay, because these guys aren't going to be the ones that you would get the information from. So it had to be, this would have been the story of Judas, when Judas knew he was going to be condemned. Then, so this story has to come from him, because you got to remember Peter already left. So that's what I added those words there, just to help the reader understand that where the story come from. And now I think that's the end. And I do have one more note here that I do want to talk about, and that is in the 1611 preface. Okay, these words I keep talking about all the time here, about when they changed the calendar. Okay, notice it's the first Roman emperor, Caesar. Okay, and I don't know if it's this guy's name or not, but the object is all this has to take place when now Rome really starts, or in the first Roman emperor. So the thing here is I believe the text at the time that the census was to take place has to be Rome had finally took over Persia, and now we have them trying to go through the land and figuring out how many people they have. So when they do when the text starts out, we have this map here as all being one, okay? But then when Jared killed the sons around Bethlehem, then I can see that this would have caused an uprising. Rome didn't like it, and whoever Caesar at that time is now saying divided into three, get more control, send more troops down in this area because we aren't fighting no more for the land, we now own it. So this first year, when I see this here in the 1611 preface to the text, this influenced me on why they would have take a census of the people. So even though the land was taken over, the quick governor was just picked and put there, and then later in the assignment they put it into 3. So that's kind of what I'm going with here, and a new understanding in my mind of when Persia and Rome took over has to be this battle. Now, it could have been like 50 years sometimes they're fighting for these, maybe even up to 100 years they're fighting for the land. So the thing here is I know that we don't have dates or trustable dates. I don't trust anything that's written as history, because I know the Roman Catholic Church wrote most of the history, and they just aren't the good guys. So as you know, in my video I have description how the Roman bishop today describes how the church fathers taught Jesus as a myth. So okay, that's going to be the end of this video, but those are the last changes. Other than that, have a good day, and I will be updating the links. The website is down a little bit right now because the new company's taken over, so they're readjusting things, and I didn't get in yet. So, and I did get a message from them that there might be trouble, so I'm going to give it a couple weeks, and then I'm going to update all the descriptions with the new PDFs. Other than that, hopefully I will try to install merch now to help put this text into print. So other than that, I'm pretty sure I'm done with all the editing and videos of editing until I get into printing. I will be making better videos now of teaching the text, but they don't have to happen really quick. So it might be a couple months now that I'm gone silent, but other than that, I'm working on trying to raise the money. So